Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jones Podcast. The Jones Podcast is a podcast that acknowledges great individuals from my city of Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and worldwide. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the Jones Podcast. What's going on, Jones Podcast family? Today's guest is my man, C.E.O. Kaupp. C.T. is an entrepreneur, a business owner, and a speaker. He started his own independent web designing company in 2017 titled C.E.O. Kaupp, LLC. C.T., how you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm doing awesome. We finally getting this podcast going on. C.T., can you tell my audience a little something about yourself?
Sure. So I started in the web industry about 7-8 years ago. I worked at my late father's advertising agency, and I worked there right out of college. I didn't have anything lined up right off of graduation, and my dad had hired a head web guy about 6 months before I graduated, and it was right when the web design was taking off for his agency. They only had about 5 websites at a time. So I was coming on to be an assistant to the head web guy, and I always kind of said I was really learning, for the first year or two. And so I was just trying to absorb as much as I could. And I was there for about 5 years, and we helped grow the agency's web portfolio from 5 sites to 60 plus that we managed, secured, supported in-house, and did all the, ongoing marketing efforts and SEO and search engine optimization to get the sites to rank higher. And then I started my own business in 2017, essentially doing, taking everything I learned from my dad and just, taking everything I learned from him, and then putting it into my own spin and being able to work with my own clients and, price things the way I want to price it, and really just doing things the way that I, see fit in 2019 and beyond.
When I met you on Instagram, I read your story about how you got started, and I think it's best if you tell your story than I tell your story for you. So tell my audience what really influenced you to do what you're doing now.
So in September of 2016, my dad was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and he passed away 61 days later. And so the perspective that I gained on life at that point, personally and professionally, really shaped where I'm at right now. And really, my dad, I say that when he passed, he passed on that entrepreneurial spirit. I was doing some freelance work for about a year before he was diagnosed, and I kind of knew, even before he got sick, that I was going to go out on my own, but really didn't have any idea of what shape or form that was going to take. And I just thought, I'll just be a freelance web guy. I love doing this kind of work. I'll just make ends meet, get random projects here and there. And it's crazy to think how just the journey, those couple of years, but he really just passed on an entrepreneurial spirit, and I really see it more of as a business, and would like to kind of have some different business ventures down the road. But right now I'm building a web business, and I really believe in building those relationships. And that was one thing I learned from my dad, was just how important those relationships were and are. And so when I create a website for somebody, it's not just a monetary transaction. There's a lot deeper connection there. And I really believe in being able to work location independently. And so whether, I'm here or traveling around the U.S., I'm able to, the business still runs essentially as long as I have Wi-Fi. And, when I am in proximity of a client, then, I want to be able to meet them face to face and, just keep building that relationship. And for example, I had a a client in Florida, and we had done some video chats and phone calls. Obviously, we're working together for about 2 years, and then last year I was able to meet them, meet the whole team, and meet them face to face when I went down there to visit some family. So that's really kind of long term. I just love the location independence and really being able to work with the clients that I want to work with and build those relationships. And I guess the other thing too I learned from my dad was, life is so dang short that getting stressed out by clients that you work with is so not worth it. And so I'm extremely particular about the clients that I take on because I want to make sure that it's the right fit on both sides. I still vividly remember seeing him stressed out, and this is so before I had the perspective and the mindset that I have now. But for whatever reason, I thought this was a question to ask him at that time was, why don't you just let them go? Let ABC client go, and sure, it's a big client. We do a lot of work for them, but it stresses you the heck out. Like, just let them go and we'll get 1 or 2 new clients to make up for that. And so that's really at the backbone of everything that I do when I'm taking on a client. I want to make sure that they value me and my expertise, and I obviously value them, them as a client. And so it's a beautiful exchange.
What motivated you to become a speaker?
I've really felt since my dad passed that it's kind of my duty to carry on, the things that I learned and that story and just positively impact others. And I think there's, especially in this day and age where, everybody is glued to their phones 24/7, and you go to a restaurant and you can't help but see, couples sitting there. Well, they're on their phones and they're not even, actively engaged in. Yeah. It's just nuts to me. And so just that perspective, having that, having your feet on the ground and just staying grounded and not taking anything for granted. And so you never know when that last, birthday is going to be, that last, dinner, that the last time you see, a loved one. You never know. And so, just really being fully present. That was what I was trying. That was the word I was trying to look for. Being fully present. No matter what you're doing, is really important to me. And I feel like that's something that may be getting lost here in the years to come because we're just we seem to be like robots and just on our phones 24/7 and just kind of out of sync. And so anything that you can do to kind of reset, recalibrate, and bring everything back is really important.
Yes, because the times we are in now, my grandfather calls it the microwave time. Everybody wants everything right now. Nobody wants to wait for anything. They want instant success right now. No one wants to work to get success. And it's not going to come overnight. It's just not.
Yeah, it's an instant gratification. It's I need to post this kind of picture on Instagram because I know it's going to get 5 times more likes than if I post this other kind of picture. And let me take 50,000 pictures to get that right picture. And it's just it's just a highlight reel. And yeah.
Social media is good to promote your business, but
it's how we met, so yeah. I can't be upset.
Exactly. But sometimes people take it to the extreme, and that's when it's bad, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I've kind of had a love-hate relationship. I really I got off of social a couple of years ago and just kind of completely wiped it out, and I was sick of seeing everyone's quote unquote highlights, and I just like it's so fake. Like I don't need it. And then as I started the business, as an avenue there, I felt like I needed to be on there and connect with people and that sort of thing. But yeah.
What I like about you, I like your perspective on life. Your thing that you always say that sticks to me is when I text you and something comes up that we can't talk that day, you would say, no worries. That right there, that saying right there does something to me. I like this guy. I like this guy. He doesn't let anything really bother him or stress him out. And we need that in this day and time that we're living in.
Yeah, I think it's a microcosm for entrepreneurship. You have to stay level-headed. You can't get too high or too low. You can apply that to sports, to life, to business, to really whatever. But I think it's really important. And just, again, kind of staying grounded and just staying even keel. It really helps keep the perspective. And that's something that I try to carry through too. And yeah, it's like, okay, we can't record the podcast today. Okay, no worries. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it next week. Like at the end of, you think about like how many things stress you out, and there's so many things that are outside of our control. But then at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control. And that's really kind of your attitude, your energy, and what you bring to life. Then everything else will kind of fall as it may.
You're right. And I love that about you. That's one thing I really like about you. You have that positive look on everything. And like I said, this day and time, we need that. So what books have you been reading? One that I tell everybody to get their hands on is High Performance Habits by Brendan Burchard. Mm-hmm. And I love Brendan. I've always felt that his story kind of parallels with mine and everything that I went through with my dad. He kind of had an awakening or kind of a sudden life change. And so I've always kind of gravitated towards him. But I really love the book, and it really just talks about different. I'm very tactical, and so it's not some motivational kind of mushy-gushy thing. It's very tactical information. It's the highest study of high performers ever done, and so it's all very things that you can take away and implement into your life tomorrow, and just to be better in every phase of your life. Okay, what's the name of the book again?
High Performance Habits.
High Performance Habits.
How Extraordinary People Become That Way. Okay. By Brendan Burchard.
Brendan Burchard. Okay. I'll have to write that down and try to find that one. So, CT, before we get up out of here, you want to promote your businesses, your websites, your Instagram, how people can get in contact with you or anything?
Yeah, Instagram, it is CT_Kaupp, my last name, Kaupp. And then my website is ctkaupp.com. I have a free 27-point website checklist you can download, ctkaupp.com/checklist. And I do a lot of website work for health, wellness, and fitness businesses. But really, I say it's agnostic in the sense of I can really help anybody, any industry, any kind of website that you may need. And so I have a chat with you. Go to my website and just go to the contact page and fill out the form there, and we'll get in touch.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you need any website help, my man CT, he is the man for it. Thank you for coming on the podcast, CT, and sharing your great story, man. Have a great night.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to the Jones Podcast. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please listen to our sister podcast titled A Midnight Cry. And don't forget to rate and review us. It goes a very long way. And once again, thank you for listening to the Jones Podcast.